Hey, hey.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Will. We have Daff, Mr. Mondo
What's
here.
up? What's up? What's up,
We're
people?
from In My Humble Opinion, and we were asked to talk about the black perspective here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. If there even is a black perspective
Experience.
experience, let's call it an experience, right? Depending on where you're from in this city, what zip code you're from, it's going to depend on what experience you have. I'm looking at the camera, Mondo. Okay? There's a camera there and there's one there. Hey, people. So we're gonna start with Mondo. So see, let's talk about your black experience or
Well,
light skinned experience.
see, when I think of black, though, because it's an array, black of color. So I think of culture, right? So you think about the black culture in Grand Rapids. So let's look at downtown and everything that's around here. It's like is anything inclusive to the black culture, right? So you'll have you like you said before, you can go somewhere with your eyes closed and it'll sound like black culture, but then when you open your eyes,
Not black.
and it's not welcoming, right? It'd be like take black culture and all the rules, all the stipulations where you can't enter or enjoy or come to a place is all, no black this, no black that, right? And that's kind of
So
how it
kind of
goes.
like your
Yeah,
culture can come in, but you can't.
correct. Yep, and I think that's one of the biggest issues, right? They'll say, "Oh, downtown is this happening place, and there's so much to do." So then people will come from, just say Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, Lansing, and then they get here, and it was like, it was nothing for me to do, for us to do, right? But for other cultures, right? Good, bad, right, or wrong, it's plenty to do. It's happening place. You can go enjoy Beer City this and Beer City that and feel welcome and feel wanted.
Right.
But on the other hand, when your cousins come down here, it's kind of like, gotta find something else to do.
There's always the else.
No.
No, we're not gonna go to the else. I also feel the same way. I'm gonna piggyback. I'm gonna piggyback off of what you said, Mondo.
Oh, okay.
That this city isn't very inclusive for black people in the community. Like on my way down here, I was driving through downtown. The thing that I saw was there were no people who were black like me who were just walking down through downtown and enjoying the city. There were people who were different races who were enjoying the city, but they could have came from somewhere else. But this is the city that I live in that I can't even really enjoy because there's
Hold it to your mouth. Hold it.
wow, because there's no inclusiveness in there's no inclusiveness in Grand Rapids, I feel like, for black people.
Okay. So now we're gonna get real because that was some nice politically correct stuff to say. I'm so proud of you guys. This is what I think. There's a plan. There's a plan here in Grand Rapids, right? There's a plan for this city to grow. There's a plan for this city to be amazing. But that does not include us, right? You think about gentrification and you think about your neighborhood and they tell you, you want a great neighborhood? And you like, hell yeah, I want a great neighborhood. They like, you want better schools? Hell yeah, I want better schools. They like, cool, we're gonna come give you all that stuff, but in 2 years, your black ass gotta leave, right?
Yep.
So what happens is that they come in and they buy up property and they buy it at a low cost and then it raises the property for everyone else and then you no longer can afford to live where you grew up at, right?
Right.
So you take Wealthy Street, for example. You go on Wealthy. If you leave, I left for almost 10 years. I came back and Wealthy was changed. Nothing that resembled black was still there. All of it was turned into unwelcoming environment.
A
That's the
hipster
thing.
more type
Hipsters, yeah,
community.
But that's the thing is that it's unwelcoming, right?
But it's your own community. Like, how are you gonna unwelcome me into my community?
Because
This
it's
is-
better. It's a
it's
better
not
community.
better.
It
It
is.
is.
They said
It is.
so.
That's what they told us.
Yeah. They said you
That's
want a
why they
better.
changed the zoning, right? Is that
Well,
what they do it to?
yeah,
right.
or they did it for the votes.
Yeah.
Right.
But then when I think about the experience of being black, sometimes you gotta leave, right? So I left Grand Rapids, and I thought that I was having a good experience here. Became successful here, went to college here, all of these great things, and then I left and found out that I wasn't even having a black experience. I was having a Will experience, right? So I went to bigger cities and see how those cities are welcoming to every race of people, and that the black people thrive. You know, you think of places like D.C., you think of places like Atlanta, even Chicago. You know, as bad as it is over there, it's welcoming for the people who live there. Here, it's not. It's not. I can't enjoy downtown, like you said, like some of the Caucasian people can enjoy downtown. You know, you can't walk downtown. Today I was getting my hair cut, and Jamal Glenn was telling, not Jamal, his brother. Anyway, he was telling me, he was like, you know, you can't even go downtown and walk with a white styrofoam cup anymore without them stopping you. He's like, I've been stopped about having a white cup, like if there was liquor in there or whatever.
Well, let me chime in on that because I work downtown Grand Rapids, so I'm down here every day, 8 hours a day. And the way I'm treated when I'm at work is totally different when I come down here after hours, right?
You have a uniform on, though.
And then I don't even wear a uniform half the time. But I mean, and then it's different, right? The vibe and energy is clearly he's working, right? He's in the big truck or whatever, and I'm working. But after 5, you know, it's kind of different. The same people who were speaking to me earlier, hey, how's it doing? Stay warm, you know, it's a nice day outside. It's kind of looking at me up and down like it's a problem with me. I'm the same person. Nothing about me has changed other than I'm not getting paid right now. And then you try to, I don't know. It's almost like we're talking about code. It's almost like when we're talking about code switching, right? And it's like, why do I have to change as a person so I can feel welcome in your establishment?
Or in your own community. Like, this is our community, too, but it just doesn't feel like it's our community. You can come downtown and you can go to any one of these bars and go inside the bars or feel like you're going to feel comfortable inside the bars. But when you go inside of these establishments, there's nobody really in there who looks like you. There may be like 3 or 4 other people. And then some people come in and they
check the kitchen.
And I'm not... You know, you come in, and a lot of people do have friends of different backgrounds and things like that, and they may be hanging out with their friends, but there's nowhere where I can go and I can feel like I'm inclusive to what's going on in the establishments because they make me feel like I'm unwelcome to come into their places.
And it's cool because it's cool for businesses in areas be a melting pot, right? For everybody to come together, right? And that's cool because if it was for a black business to be here, then you can't say, well, hey, this is for black people. It has to be for everybody, right? You have to be welcoming for everybody, right? You have to have a night. So if it's a bar or something, you have to have a night for everybody. And then I get it. If I own a bar down in Ionia, I'm not going to give you Saturday night,
no,
right? Because Saturday night, now all my people are free. They don't got to work. Come down here.
Right.
So it's like, do we get the opportunity to be able to get brick and mortar so that we can have our own down here without any issues?
I think that 2 things.
It's chilly out here.
You better grab a spoon. Dad joke. Listen, when you look at equity and equality, right? I don't know what he's saying, but when you look at equity and equality, right? So making things equal, like downtown, they make it equal, right? So
for themselves.
But
no.
Listen,
no. It's right.
Listen,
equal and equity.
Equal is 2 different things.
Yep.
So it's equal meaning that, hey, we're open from 9 to 5. Anybody can come over here. And then you go and they say, yeah, but not people who wear chains, not people who wear hats, not people who wear Jordans, not people who wear buffs. None of those
people who have melanin.
Who have melanin, right? So it's equal, and the city is trying to be equal, but there's no equity in there. It's like, yes, everybody can do it, but sometimes some people need a little bit more so that it can be even. And I don't think that this city does that. They say, oh, Grand Rapids is a booming city. For who? Grand Rapids is a great place to live. For who?
Yeah.
Right? As much as they're putting in this money downtown, as we see them building all of this stuff, when is it going to overflow into the communities from like the 49507 where I was raised? When are we going to get some of that money, right? And I'm going to go my tangent.
But you be out of the community before you even get the money because they're going to gentrify the community. So what are you waiting on?
Yeah. But then that goes to equity. 49507-6 needs more money than way out here somewhere or downtown. right?
But even if they get the money, it's still not going to be for you. It's going to be for the gentrification of that part of town.
But I thought gentrification was to make things much better.
It makes it better for people of outside of the
Now,
What are
community
people from outside?
who want to
yeah?
move into the community.
Now, it's a word. I cannot pronounce it. Revitalization. I said revitalization.
Yeah.
See, that's what we need to revitalize communities, not gentrify communities. Because when we revitalize them, we're giving them life, right? The people that's in the community, we're giving them life. We're providing opportunities
You're growing,
and
you're
resources,
developing.
right? And then, but when we gentrify, we knock everything down, and then I come make it because I'll be there in 10 years.
Yeah, like I said, there is a plan for Grand Rapids. If there's a 5-year plan, 2 of those years belong to you, dark people.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them belong to the rest of the people, right?
The non-Negroes.
The non, yeah.
Okay.
And so if you look at it this way, if you're going to be, the black experience is dictated by people who are not black.
Correct.
Right? So when you're in a room and they're saying 49507, these are the plans, is there anybody in that room who looks like you who's making these plans for the neighborhood that you live in? Like, we have to understand that sometimes just because you're skin folk don't mean you're kinfolk, right? And so if you're not being inclusive and bringing the people who are directly going to be affected by whatever changes you're making. And I'm not talking about going to get somebody from Caledonia just because he's black and ask him about the black experience here in Grand Rapids, or someone who don't have anything to do with what's going on.
Pause parenthetically right there. What we see so much is that people who aren't from the community that
Are running the community.
no, not even run a community. They're the spokesperson for the community. So then my question is, the gatekeepers or whoever who are grabbing these people, like, we need you to go speak to
Tokenism.
Right. But see, that's my thing with tokenism. Now, you don't choose to be a token. They just pick you.
I
then
think
once
some
they
of them
put you
have
in
chose
position.
to be a token.
No, when they get in there is what they decide to do with it.
Some of
No,
these
some people
in
come
these-
in looking to
Some
be
of
the
these
token.
people in this community
How?
have already been. Do you? We'll talk about it. I'll tell you.
We
who-
talk about it right now.
I'm just saying, some of
You
these
ain't gotta say
people,
no names.
some of these people have worked so hard to be inclusive in this community as a token, and they do things outside of their regular culture just so that they can fit in with the people that they want to be tokens of. They may not say, "Oh, I want to be a token," but you're working hard to become a token.
They soft shoe tap dance
I
to
don't
get
know.
in
They
positions.
tap dance, they jive, they shuffle, they hustle, they electric slide. I don't know what they do, but they get in there.
So once they get in there, right, then you're saying they no longer got our back.
Yeah. Like,
No.
if you, listen, if you put me in the room, right, and I get in that room, I'm going to make it real uncomfortable. If I'm in that room, I'm going to make it uncomfortable for everybody who's not trying to do what's best for the people who look like me, talk like me, walk like me, and live where I live. So if you're in that room and you're not making people uncomfortable, you're not doing your damn job.
But see, that's the problem. We're too worried about making those people in the room comfortable, but they're not doing nothing to make us comfortable.
Well, because we are inclusive people, Mondo.
Oh.
We have to be, right? We have to.
We got it.
When you look at the black experience, we are always being inclusive. We come downtown, we conform to what they say. We go here, we conform to what they say. But they come into our community, they don't conform to anything that we say, anything that we do. They come with their own rules and their own agenda, and then we have to then fit their agenda in our own damn neighborhoods. Don't make any sense. So as a black person, I feel like we are too inclusive at times. It's time to be selfish. It's time to be selfish, meaning that we have to take care of ourselves. We have to ensure that this black experience that we're talking about in Grand Rapids is really an experience and not a damn nightmare.
Right. And that's the thing. We just need something for ourselves, right? And that's why I said opportunity. They'll say the access.
But where's the opportunity going to come from?
We have to ask them for that
I'm
opportunity.
not going to beg. Yeah, but you look at all of this stuff. Look around here. Look downtown. They keep building things. They keep putting things up. And there's nothing where they're like, hey, would you all like to be involved? Would you like to be inclusive in this situation? They have things, they do things, and they invite everybody else around except for the people of the black community.
But this what happens. With the black community, then you have to be the black and brown community. And nothing against our brown brothers and sisters. But you know, you get your stuff. You got a whole district, right?
Man, you go past Granville. Like,
Yep, and it's cool. We're happy
there's
for you.
nothing's wrong for it. Yeah.
Yep. But then when you need them numbers or those resources, then it's the black and brown.
Right.
But then when it's black people needing stuff, It's like y'all on y'all own. Y'all will figure it out. Y'all got black on black crime, so we can't get involved.
Which
right?
is a myth, right?
Right.
Which is a myth because you kill who's closer to you, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're going to talk about black on black crime, you got to talk about white on white crime, Mexican on Mexican crime, whatever you want to call crime on crime. People commit crime against people who they live closer to. Nobody leaves from here and go all the way and say, I'm going to go to all white community just start killing white people. No. And no white person, I'm just going to go to a black community just kill all these black people because there's too much black on black crime.
And you made me lose my train of thought.
That's not hard.
Not at all. You get in my age.
That's usually me.
But also, so with that, when do we just get a piece of? I look at Alexander School, right?
Right.
Right in the middle of the neighborhood. You telling me it's no money to open up that, make that a rec center, make that something a resource center for people in the community?
In like 10 years, I told
it's
you have
just
to wait.
sitting there empty.
No, why would
Empty.
you want to develop those people in that community so that they could come
Stay.
out and or stay and become a more diverse part of the community? Like, why would you want to develop those people in the community so that they can come and maybe possibly take over what you already have going on because you already have your narrative?
Well,
Boston Square. That's all I'm going to say. Look what they're doing over there. Mm-hmm. Look what they're doing over there.
Oh no! It's fine. No. They fine.
Oh, okay. You know, I'm from 49507. So hey, let's get it popping.
Yeah.
The other thing, if you want to increase the black experience or make it better, what we have to do as black people is start putting people who look like us inside of where they're making decisions at, and so we have to put people in place. Like, we need to stand behind somebody who's going to come in and say to them, I'm going to have to turn because...
No, you good. I can see.
Okay. You have to...
Hold on. We might have it.
This is not the place, my brother. Okay. We appreciate you. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay. All righty.
See, now this is a good example.
No.
This is
how people feel.
No, this is a good example.
Hold on. You can let him go. Let him go. He's good. This is the issue right here. Here we are on a platform to talk. He's great. This is not the problem he wants. Trust me. What I'm saying is that this is a perfect example. We're having right now a conversation about the black experience. And immediately we're interrupted, right, by you. You come and you say, you this, you crack babies, you this, that, and the third.
Yep.
Let us have our time. There's a lot. There's black, white, Puerto Rican, Mexican, homeless, right? There's mental ill people too, right?
Yeah.
So those people should be able to have
that.
a lot.
And do you see us smoking, drinking, or cracking out, sir? But you do have the temperament of such people. But you have the temperament of them. So maybe, yeah, I've been arrested. But what does that have to do with
Have you
anything?
been arrested?
Yeah.
I don't know. You tell me.
You tell me.
Over here.
You're interrupting us. So you are the example. And I appreciate you because you're being the example of the ignorance.
That's in this community.
It's in this community.
But then you want to say, oh, it's the black people in the community who come down here and they do things in the community and they tear up the community.
Yep.
But it's people like
and it's
you.
people like him.
You can come over here. You can interrupt us and say whatever you need to say.
Right.
But then when we have a platform, you don't want us to talk on our platform. How about you go do whatever you need to do and make yourself a life, not over here.
So the problem.
We don't need police. We have each other.
The problem is
we got
this.
police. We got each other.
The problem is this.
So we'll speak your piece and then we ignore it. We'll get back
the
to
problem
what we
is
came here
this.
to do.
This is the problem. The problem is privilege.
Yep.
People think that they have the privilege to do what they want when they want to. And if this, and I'm going to say this, if this was a black man doing this right now
It'd be
to
a
a white
problem.
podcast,
Yep.
there would be cops down here right now arresting him, throwing him on the floor, putting their knees in his neck, arresting him. But because he feels like he has the privilege
to come and
the
interrupt
right
us.
to come and interrupt, he's been here all day.
All day.
He has not once walked on stage. He has not once yelled. He has not once screamed. But right now, because we're sitting here, a minority podcast, he came from all the way over there yelling, screaming, until he made himself available right here. Privilege. But I'm here to tell you, I don't give a hell about your privilege. This is our platform. This is our time. And we're going to continue to talk, and you're going to go away. Because you're
good
unimportant.
day, sir.
You
good
have
day.
a good day.
Goodbye.
Good day.
Sometimes you got to talk to ignorance with ignorance.
Yeah.
Because that's all they understand.
Back at the plantation.
On the plantation.
Oh, man.
Y'all should subscribe to our podcast. You can catch us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Look for the logo.
In my humble opinion, GR.
Yep.
So listen, you guys, I'm going to stand up because my emotions is, man.
Talk your talk. Do what you got to do to get what you need.
You want to know about the black experience. Boom, you just saw it. You just saw the black experience, right? No matter what goes on and where we are, people think that they can say things like that to us. They can treat us a different way, and we have to take it. You know why? Because they feel as if we have to be included with them.
But here's the thing. Now, if I would have got aggressive with him,
it would have been your fault.
It'd have been my fault, right?
Because you would have did something wrong.
Exactly. But this is my thing. When I'm down here working every day with these same people I see, we don't have these issues. But now, on a Saturday afternoon, everybody chilling, and, oh, man. You see how you can be having such a beautiful thing going and enjoying, and it just takes that one outside thing, right?
To mess up the whole thing.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this.
So let's get back to doing what we do best.
Yeah.
Talking.
So when you think about this whole black experience, and we all got friends from different cultures and things like that. Do you see the difference when you're out with your friends, how you're treated versus when you're by yourself in this inner city, Grand Rapids, downtown? If you go out with your coworkers at the same restaurant, you're going to be treated a little bit different. The same club, probably a little bit different. Grocery stores, everything is a little bit different when you're not the majority. If it's 3 black people, bad. If it's 1 black person, 2 white people, you may get a different response here in this city.
But even sometimes when you're with your non-black friends, and it's just you and them or your coworkers, so it's not even when you're not with them. Sometimes when you're with them, it's still a little bit different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but a lot of times if it's you and a group of people, because I frequent, downtown every now and then. When you're with a group of people who are of different races and it's a different minority group, you are treated a little bit different. But then if you come down and it's like you and 3 black friends, then it's completely different. It's like they've already stereotyped you and what kind of character you're going to be when you come into any type of establishment or their establishments or whatever.
I'll say true because I do enjoy downtown. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy it. Because it's really all we have.
When the Drinks was down here, when Max's was down here.
Girl, you bringing back old
I'm
memories.
just saying, but there's no type of places like that now. We can go. You're going to play my music when you over in any of these bars.
But I'm not saying even in the bars. I mean just being out because...
Oh, you like the water. Okay.
You might fit the description.
That's how you end up in the friend zone down
there.
That
that could be, though. That could be. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think with me having lighter skin, I do get treated a little bit better
than us.
Then boy with the white sweatshirt on, I do probably would get.
Here
treated
comes the
better
colorism.
Yep, and that's fine. I didn't create it. I just
enjoy it. Your light skin privilege.
Wow.
It sucks. So, I think that.
I hope you burn in the summer.
I think you're right, Mondo. I think that it's more welcoming.
Yeah.
It's more welcoming.
I'm not as much as a
It's
threat.
more welcoming to females, too, than it is to you, also.
I'm not as much as a threat.
I ain't got no problem.
No.
Okay.
So let me ask this, because I don't know how much time we got, and I don't want to go over.
Well, he stole some of our
he
time, so
already
we're going to
took some
reclaim
of
our time.
So we're going to take our black privilege.
That's what they do.
We're going to take our black privilege and take our time.
Okay.
Because we on CP time anyways.
What are some things from downtown and from, in the city? What are some changes or some things that you would like to see and things that you think that will help build community For
access
us.
to resources.
Okay, and which resources would those be?
I think that a lot of the, like for one, better schools. Like we just need better schools, better buildings. And I know
Well, they look nice. On the outside, they look nice.
So does a present until you open it, it's a lump of coal.
The
So-
director of education is also Betsy DeVos.
Yeah. So, but
So it's the infrastructure, not the structure of the building.
I just think that, when you look at a lot of these communities, when you feel good and things look good, you tend to feel better about yourself, right? And if you go into a neighborhood and the houses are all messed up and, it just looks dingy, it looks like you should be gloom and doom, right? But when they come in and gentrify a neighborhood, the first thing they do is start beautification. That's the first step. They come in, they try
pause
to,
right there. Let me ask this question. I'm going to play devil's advocate, right? I don't think I've ever
No, you
did
can play
devil's-
devil.
That too. I'll play devil's advocate. What about when they say, hey, you need to take more responsibility for your own neighborhoods and community?
I say, hey, no. and that's true. We do. We do need to take more responsibility for our neighborhoods.
But I think there are people in the community who are taking more responsibility in the neighborhoods and are doing things. They are doing things just like, so that event that you were a part of, and then Wood TV had the comment section or whatever, and people got mad because it was some event that was hosting more black businesses. So now it's a problem because you're taking care of your community. You're inviting people in your community to talk about their businesses, their entrepreneurships, and have different things that is welcoming to everybody in the community. But then it's a problem when you try to build on the resources that you have in the community, which are already small resources that you're building on, and then you're building on these resources and they don't even want you to do that. It's a problem when you do that. It's a problem when you try to be happy. It's a problem when you're not. And it's always an issue. So go ahead, finish. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
No.
I think that when you look at, you saying taking care of our own neighborhoods, and we are, but it doesn't get the light that it should.
Because that's a problem also.
And so we talked about this before. If I want to set the net, where did you get that box water from? Is this mine? Did somebody drunk you out of it?
All
already?
right. Drink it though.
Okay. So
God makes water.
what I'm saying is this, is that I'm not going to highlight the good things in the neighborhood because I want you to
Support
think that
black
neighborhood is
businesses.
bad, right? So I'm going to highlight all of the negativity in the neighborhoods. Yeah. And so when the news come, they're going to talk about the bad things, right? They're going to talk about do they still sell crack?
They're gonna frame it.
No, I'm
just
like
say drugs.
It's
Yeah,
framing,
drugs.
yeah.
So drugs and stuff like that, right? But you had at Martin Luther King Park, you had a lot of black men who went up there to just pray for the violence and that's going on in the city. Yes, there were some cameras there, but that didn't get a lot of publicity or exposure like it should have. And had you been there, you'd be like, man, you can feel the power that was on that basketball court. So that's not the narrative that we want to show for the 49507, 49504, that area, right? So now we're going to find something negative to counteract some of that positivity that's going on. So if I'm from the Upper Peninsula, whatever was going on up there,
right.
and I've never had an encounter really with black people, then my only exposure to black people is through the media, right? Or through someone who says, I've seen those
And the
black
media
people.
is going to
That's how
frame
they
it
do.
the way they want to frame it, especially for the characteristics of the people that are
Right.
in our community. So they're going to put whatever they want to put on the news, word it how they want to word it. Not saying that it didn't happen.
Right.
I'm just going to twist it a little bit so that I get the...
So even with that, so that goes back to culture, right? So they'll frame our culture as being really negative, like negative people. So was it past summer? Not the summer that passed, but the summer before. It was issues downtown, right?
Yes.
Summer sure has
There were a
passed.
bunch of isolated incidents. One was with, some black kids, right? Kind of small. Other issues, right? So when they discussed the black issue, it was a whole bunch of gang of black teens, blah, blah, blah. The other issues, you didn't mention it, right?
Just boys being boys.
Right. No, not even that. So then the narrative is painted, this is from with the issue with the blacks. Then it's a shooting, right, on the west side. And then you make it fit the narrative like, this was the blacks. So then now we got to hold stuff that ain't even ours. Like, we didn't have nothing to do with that, right?
So, and this is like just popped in my head, like things usually do. When you think about how I'm gonna pray for y'all.
That's too easy.
Please pray.
No.
Pray to Black Jesus for me.
What I'm saying is that there's two type of black people that white America likes, right? It's the non-aggressive, light-skinned people like Mondo.
But I'm a little aggressive.
You're not. That guy walked up here and he was like, "Will, save me." So when you look at
you was finna keep it real, go wrong, and I was gonna have to hurt that man for you.
He looks strong too. Listen,
he did. He was all sweaty.
But what I'm saying is that non-aggressive, you fit the narrative of being a person who I can approach, and then it's the other black person who says nothing and just go along with everything that's going on. Then you have a brother like me who I'm coming.
I mean, if we're gonna sit up here and lie, go ahead.
Go ahead, tell your story. It's your
Anyway,
story, Will.
then
Tell
you
your
have
story.
a person like me.
Half
who
truths and all.
I'm going to come in the room and I'm going to speak the truth. Like, I'm not going to hold back. And if I don't like it, I don't like it. Not saying that you wouldn't do that, Mondo. You would. Listen. But when you look at it this way, they'll say, "Oh, Mondo, you did something great."
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then they exclude you or take you away from the black community and set you out. And there's Mondo. Mondo did these great things, right? Then if Mondo do something bad, they take Mondo and put him back into the black community
Because
and
you
blame
no
the
longer
whole black
belong.
community for what Mondo did. But every time he does something great, they put him out in the spotlight. See, if Mondo can do it, then the other little black people should be able to do it. Or they'll say, against all odds, Mondo made it. And then it's like, Mondo may have
with
had
no father. With no father.
I
Just
am your
him and a struggling single black mother, right?
They will highlight.
They'll never highlight the black family.
Right.
Right? You never see the black family as a whole. It's always, he made it. Or the grandma. It got to be the grandma.
Or the
But
grandma.
I think for me,
But there are dads, because every dad deserves a great.
Every kid deserves a dope father.
They do. They do. They do. Oh, I would just wish Mondo's daughter had a dope father. I just wish she did in my heart. But when you look at it, you made me lose my train of thought.
I'm sorry. That's usually me, guys.
I know. But
Y'all slacking.
when you look at the black experience, sometimes it's that they try to separate you, especially here in Grand Rapids. I've learned that after being gone and coming back and being a little bit more successful than I was when I left, I can tell the difference in the way that people treat me, tell the difference in the way of the conversations that people have with me, and then some of that passive aggressive type language no longer exists in some areas. But then you see people who are here who doing, a shout out to my age group, not yours, Mondo, because we got some awesome, like, this generation
Young
of
brothers,
people.
brothers doing good. Sisters, young brothers and sisters are doing a lot.
Good, are doing great. But I think that that's not highlighted, and the difference is sometimes you have, like I said, you have to leave and come back to actually know what you want.
Did it make you appreciate it more?
No, it made me understand that as a black person in Grand Rapids, that I wasn't fully getting the whole experience that I deserved, because it just, you get what you get, and if you don't know what you're getting, it's not all that you can get, then you accept it, right?
And it's not to say that everybody else shouldn't enjoy it, but it's like, give us something.
Something. They're like, they have the Black Lives Matter rally over there, right? And people say, why you got to have Black Lives? We should not have to have a Black Lives Matter. We have a Black Lives Matter because of racism, right? And they say, oh, we need to fix racism in Grand Rapids. Black people need to understand. No, racism is not a black problem.
It isn't, because
we can't fix it because it's not ours. We don't own it. So how can we fix something that doesn't belong to us? We just have to tolerate it. It's like having a mental illness and somebody in your family having a mental illness. They have the mental illness.
Right.
You have to tolerate the mental illness.
Yep.
So racism is a mental illness that white people have, and they have to go and get treatment and help and things like that for it. We can't fix that for you.
So with like the police, right? They say we have to work on different things with the racism. Stop being racist.
True.
That's easy.
That's it.
That's easy.
You don't want to profile black people and stuff like that?
But a lot of these police don't understand the community that they police in because they don't know anything about the people that they are policing.
And the culture
Because
of
they,
the people.
Or the culture. They don't go into these communities and say, oh, let me learn about these communities. Let me talk to these people in the communities. They go into the communities, they do their job, they police, and they learn nothing about the community. So therefore, when they go to police or whatever they do, ride around,
so they can't serve or protect.
So
they can't even serve or protect because you don't know the people you're
not
serving. So how can you protect them?
You can't. That's true too. But yeah, okay, you made a point.
I think
Gold star for Mondo.
now you're at 1/2 star.
Always piggybacking off of the idea.
Right. But to speak about the police that you're talking about, I think that when you look at, they say all of this training that they get, and that's cool. But I think the best training is when you go and you meet these people and you eat amongst these people. You go to these community events off work to kind of figure out what is it that make these people tick? What is it that you can have common ground on? I don't think it has anything to do with their training that they're getting to become police officers. That has nothing to do with it. That
Correct.
training has been proven to work when used correctly,
Yeah.
right? What happens is someone already has some type of preconceived notion of black people. Then they become a police officer. Then they have a badge, and they have a gun, and they have authority. And those things start coming out because they feel like they have the right to do it because they're in control. So it's not the training of the police officer. I believe it's the personal.
It's the person.
The personal characteristics of some police officers that happen to be white.
But just
right?
imagine if they were able to sit down with us, like you said, just hang out in the neighborhood, patrol the neighborhood, not looking and searching for suspects, but actually patrol, get to know the people, the kids, the business owners, and stuff like that. And then that way you know, oh, it's Friday. Will gonna be loud, drunk on his porch. Ain't gonna hurt a fly, right? But then you see Will walking from the liquor store to home. Oh, a vandal.
Right.
Lock him up, put him away, right?
Right.
But that don't just go for police officers, because you look at even our local politicians or leaders or whatever you want to call them, people, you don't see them either.
You never see them.
They're not trying to enhance the black experience either, right?
In the
And we put these people
community,
in office. We're going and we're voting for them, and they're supposed to have our agenda on the table, and they don't.
Because they
that's
came
the
to our
problem.
church and said, hey.
But that's our fault.
Will you come vote
I think
for
we
me?
should take some blame on that because we give them our vote for free. We don't make them work for our vote. We don't say, hey, I'm going to vote for you and you do this. They just say, well, I'll try to do this.
But
just
sometimes,
go on and vote for
but
me.
Then some
And
of
then
them
we
are
say,
already,
oh, they're black, so we're going to vote for them.
Some of them are already in office and said that they were going to do things, and where are they?
And then with us, where we
They-
don't
they-
put
they-
where we
they-
don't put our money, we don't have a voice. So what we have to do, we have to pull our resources together and just say, hey, we picked this person, we're going to back this person. So if you continuously want us to support you, we're going to vote you in because they don't want you there, but it's enough of us to get you in. And then you just do your job, and then you help us with what we're doing, and then we'll continue to support you.
I personally am very disappointed in the municipalities of the city of Grand Rapids.
Why?
Because I just don't feel like they make the black experience inclusive to the black people in the community besides the tokens that you talked about earlier.
But do we make them? Right?
No.
It's not that they're going to care, because what's going to happen is a lot of times they're going to do whatever they need to do to please both sides of the fence, and they're going to halfway please our sides of the fence and then do whatever they need to do to make sure the structure of this city of Grand Rapids continues to look the way it does for them and everybody else and not for us.
And then that's why I said we have to put somebody. We have to quit letting them say, okay, well, here's so-and-so, right? We have to be like, you know what? I know a strong community leader.
Okay,
let's get behind this person.
Okay, if that's
and
the
that's
case,
what we don't do.
So people are
We don't.
protesting and they're having these things, and you say, okay, I'm gonna follow a strong community leader, but then at the same time, these people come down here and they do these things and they protest and they have their opinions, but nobody's supporting them.
Yeah, but
You know what I'm saying? If you look at the black community and you look at, it's not like people are like, oh, yay, go. You're going to go down here. You're going to fight what's injustice in the city of Grand Rapids. These people are on Facebook talking about crab broils.
just
I'm not
could
gonna
not
do that.
wait to say that.
And see, when we have supporting resources, then we would have known about this event. We would have
Right.
known about this event podcast in
But,
the park,
but,
right?
but these social media platforms are so huge that people can't communicate these things. People choose to communicate what they want to communicate. When we put this out here and we all shared this event, I went to the event and it's like 500 people. You know what I mean? And not many of them were people of our community.
And I think that's because sometimes we get so used to not being included, we exclude ourselves. We're like, oh,
Right.
it ain't for us anyway.
Exactly.
Like, they ain't gonna have nothing for us anyway, so why go downtown? And then it's downtown. So, black people in downtown,
You don't
have
want
a
to turn
good
the corner the
relationship.
wrong way. Ooh, he fell off his bicycle or something. Oh, Lord, fix it, Jesus.
I think he hit his head. But so if we don't have that experience down here, then we figure if it's downtown, it's not for us.
Oh, Lord.
Do you?
Focus.
Yes.
I'm focusing. I'm listening.
Do you-
Focus.
but
Listen,
think,
he need help.
but listen, when you look at
Get your final thought in, brother.
yeah, because she's gone. My final thought is this: is that if you want to enhance the black experience in Grand Rapids, then you gotta get some common black folks on the boards of the people who making the decisions. Don't just get somebody who, because they're black, automatically that's who you're gonna pick. Get some people who live in the communities to be on these boards and things. So what happens, this is my final thought. What happens is they'll have forms where you can come and voice your opinion, but they don't have the opportunity for you to be in the room. So they come and tell you what they're going to do, or they tell you what already has happened, because they always have a meeting before the
they already
meeting.
made a decision.
Yeah, there was a meeting before the meeting, so we're going to come out here and sugarcoat it to you guys. I think that we need to, as black people, start to get on these boards, start to make them work for our votes, start to make them respect where we live, and respect us as people, as a collective. We have to come together. And I always say, right now is the best time, because it feels like the 60s. And I wasn't born back there, Mondo was. But when you look at the 60s, how people were coming together, like right now is the time. Right now is the time for us to come together and push our own agenda. We need our own agenda. We need to understand that it's us.
Rants
And
long.
I am done.
Hell of a tangent.
Right.